Mincha is going to be at 7 o'clock. Please be on time. Today's learning is the Ilui Nishmat Adina Bat Esther, sponsored by Anonymous. Hazak Baruch. The halachot of muktzeh, as we were discussing, Ravadia writes that paper in earlier times was considered muktzeh mahamat chisaron kis. Paper was something that was very expensive, relatively speaking, and people were very, very careful to not use it for other things aside from its purpose. And since its purpose is something that's not asur, is not mutar on Shabbat, because you're not allowed to write on it on Shabbat, so therefore paper was considered the highest form of muktzeh, and you wouldn't be able to even handle it from one place to another. Even if it was on the chair and you wanted to use the chair, you wouldn't be able to move it under essentially any circumstance. However, today things are a little bit different. Most paper, people aren't so careful about it, and you would use it for other things. Like, for example, you would take a paper, a loose leaf paper, and you would use it as a bookmark, or you would give it to children to make a paper airplane out of it, or things like that, and therefore it does not rise to the category of something that is muktzeh machamat chisaron kis, the highest level of muktzeh. There are some papers today that would still fall in that category. Like sometimes you have specialty papers that are expensive and you don't want to use it for other things, and then that would have the status of muktzeh machamat chisaron kis. The question is, though, the regular paper that you buy in the stores, like the printing paper and the lined paper and all these papers, if they're not muktzeh machamat chisaron kis, what level are they? And there does seem to be an implication in some of the authorities that it's not muktzeh at all, which is very interesting, because usually the rule is that you go after the majority usage. So even though it does have secondary usages, but the primary usage is for, of course, writing. And writing or printing is certainly something that's asur to do on Shabbat. And therefore, halakha lema'aseh, we still treat it as muktzeh, we just don't treat it as the highest form of muktzeh. Meaning it doesn't have the status of muktzeh mahamat chisaron kis, but it does have the status of muktzeh. The major difference is that you would be able to move it letzorech gufo or letzorech mekomo, meaning if I wanted a piece of paper, I wanted to use it in my Gemara, and it's a blank piece of paper, there's nothing written on it, and I want to use it to hold my place in the Gemara, it would be permitted because it's a kli shemelachto le'isur. As opposed to in earlier times, even that would be something that is asur to do on Shabbat. But to treat paper like it's not muktzeh at all, that does not seem to be true, and it seems pretty clear from the footnotes of Chacham Uvadia that it does have the status, even today, of a kli shemelachto le'isur, and not a kli shemelachto leheter. Baruch Adonai le'olam.